Today we'll take a look at local police and the San Marcos community coming together to discuss the Black and Blue Lives movements. Later, we'll look at an Austin bike shop where you can bring life to old bikes. Hi, I'm Dyhanara Rios. Today I'm joined by Coleman, Kirby Johnson, Meagan Stokes, and Colbert. And we're going to begin the show by talking about an event on campus where police officers, professors, and community activists got together to talk about the issues regarding police and race relations. I had the chance to observe the event. Let's take a look. The relationship between police and communities of color is one of the hot-button issues facing our country, and it was the focus of the first Bobcats United session of the semester. Representatives of the Black Lives Movement, local police, and their supporters came together to discuss what both sides can do to reach common ground and understanding.
It's difficult to really impress upon anyone, not just officers, but anyone, the importance of learning your community's culture, their ethnicity, etiquette within their particular community.
With spaces for discussion on sensitive topics, such as the events being held in the Bobcats United Town Hall series, as well as other events at Texas State University, the university community has opportunities to turn that discussion into action.
I think being intentional about creating opportunities for very deep critical reflection and reflexive thought is imperative to the development of a student, to the development of an adult, to the development of a person.
Walk says that student organizations on campus have a role in not just the discussion, but action.
I would like to see some organizations move away from being exclusively social to being social activists, or at least making sure that they embed that in their mission.
Students can suggest the next topic for a town hall meeting by contacting the student government.
Hey, so did the town hall meeting stay relatively calm?
Yeah, surprisingly, everybody was very civil about expressing their opinions. It was, for such a touchy subject, it was very interesting. Everybody was able to stay peaceful.
Why did you choose to cover this story?
Well, personally, I feel like I didn't know enough about the issue, especially as it related to San Marcos, so I really got to learn about that then. So moving on from one event on campus to another, this year's Common Experience theme is A Century in Conflict. And so there was an art exhibit on campus that showed the many different perspectives through many different mediums. So Ian, this was your story.
Yeah, so the exhibit kind of focused in on women in the last 100 years, so from World War I to present and their role in conflicts here in America.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
I Am Woman, Hear Me War is an art exhibit which falls in line with this year's Common Experience theme, A Century in Conflict. Kelsey Huckabee, the curator for the Gallery of the Common Experience, says the exhibit focuses on the lives of women and how they have been affected.
The artwork displayed here has been created by not only women veterans that we see, like in this room here in this installation, but also by family members of veterans or other people that have otherwise been affected.
For some people, this is just an art exhibit, but for others, this is a form of release.
Regina Vasquez is a former Marine who created Fatigue's clothesline. Survivors of sexual assault in the military have used their military blouses to express their past trauma.
All my blouses are turned inside out. And the reason behind that is because for me, when I was raped in the Marines, it was in the beginning of my career. I ended up not reporting it because I was threatened to be killed by the platoon sergeant, their platoon sergeant.
Vasquez struggled with what happened for 11 years.
But in the end, I'm freaking proud to be a Marine. And so when you see the blouses turned inside out, it's each survivor expressing themselves on the inside because that's what they carried on the inside.
Well, it's amazing to see all that different art and also learning about the different stories behind it.
No, every single exhibit, every single piece in that exhibit had a story behind it, and it was really interesting to see how Fatigue's clothesline had that story behind it.
What was your reaction to that exhibit?
So I mean, it's kind of in a room off towards the back, and just kind of going in there, you kind of got the vibe of almost remorse, but also healing as well.
So of all the stories that were out there, what made you want to choose this one?
Well, my mom and my dad were both in the military, and I think it's a really interesting aspect of women in the military, which, I mean, they're half of the population right now, so that's something that I really want to cover.
Thanks for that, Ian. So coming up next, students participate in career fairs, and we visit a bike shop where people can learn the ins and outs of fixing their own bikes.
Look, son, if you don't make the grades, we're gonna have to pull you out of school. We're not doing this for nothing.
Hey bro, we're having a party tonight. You should come. It's gonna be wild.
If you or someone you know needs help discussing any problems, call Texas Youth Hotline at 1-800-989-6884 or text 512-872-5777.
Welcome back. It may be early October, but it's never too early to start looking for a job. So Kirby, you visited one of the first career fairs this semester. What were students saying about finding a job?
Yeah, so Career Services hosted an all-majors career fair, which was a great way to bring in the semester. They had over 70 employers come, and students were very excited to meet them, but also very anxious on what to expect.
Cool. Let's check out that career fair.
It's that time of the year again. Career Services hosted the All Majors Career Fair September 21st and 22nd. The two-day event focused on giving students a game plan for life after graduation.
So, do you have a resume with you?
It gives the student the opportunity to see what kind of opportunities are out there for them after graduation, and also whether you're a freshman or senior to just get a better understanding of what your options are.
This event is just one of the many career events put on by the department. Career Services puts on more than 20 different events a year that are career-related.
There are over 70 different employers that come to these events looking to hire students. And with the help of Career Services, these Bobcats are ready to make lasting impressions that can secure them a job in the real world.
Well, I hope to shake a lot of hands today, and I hope to make some connections that'll land me a job come December.
Career Services will also help students prepare for that big job interview by reviewing resumes and giving critiques.
They're really friendly, and the process wasn't stressful. It was more like making sure I just had everything.
For more information on upcoming career events, you can visit www.careerservices@txstate.edu.
Hey Kirby, people looked like they were dressed up real nice for that career fair.
Absolutely, yeah. Students were treating this fair as a job interview, as they should. So they're coming with resumes, they're coming with questions, and they're coming in business casual to make that great first impression.
So Kirby, how do you think students should properly prepare for these career fairs in the future?
Well, luckily for students, Career Services, they plan these events months in advance. So the list of employers that are coming are on their website, so students can check that out in advance. And also they help critique students' resumes as well to get them ready for the big day.
Out of all of the companies that were represented, which one stood out to you the most?
HEB probably stood out the most just because it's a familiar face, a familiar name. It's a big company. We have two of them here in San Marcos, and they were very willing to give students opportunities after graduation.
Well, thanks, Kirby. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about bikes. We see them on campus all the time, and we know that bikes are good for your health and for the environment. And so Studio A's Stephanie Williams went to go visit the Yellow Bike Project in Austin. So let's take a look at that.
On the east side of Austin, hidden behind some overgrown grass and trees, sits a large metal garage. It's the home of Yellow Bike Project of Austin, a group that believes by teaching people to become self-sufficient in bike mechanics, they can curb waste and give a new purpose to something old. Just because it's broke doesn't mean it can't be fixed.
If you have an old bike, bring it here, and they'll make it useful again. If you're not riding it or it's broken, we can fix it, we can get it back on the road, and allows somebody else to utilize.
Cutting down on waste, get this. What would happen to these bicycles is they would end up in landfill and sit there for hundreds of years.
Whether their hard work is to be donated or sold, YPP's main focus is to make sure that bikes like these get a second chance on the road. YBP offers workshops for novices and experts alike, and it's all open to the public. All you have to do is show up. YBP hopes to continue building a supportive community around bikes as a feasible transportation alternative for a growing city. The hope is that with a willingness to learn and some spare parts, you shouldn't have to sacrifice your sanity for that dreaded daily commute.
Getting bicycles on the road is an important thing to get cars off the road and people healthier. And a place like this allows people to have access to those bikes that normally wouldn't have access.
If you're interested in donating money, parts, time, or would like to come to one of their open shops, you can find all their information on their website at austinyellowbike.org. For Studio A, I'm Stephanie Williams.
Coming up, retro games get older and older each year, but classic arcades are keeping them alive. And we visit a unique ice cream shop where they add alcohol to the mix.
College students can still be afraid of the dark. Texas State offers something special, Bobcat Bobbies, a safe alternative to walking alone at night.
See you soon.
Bobcat Bobbies operates from dawn till dusk, and the awesome Texas State security officers will be happy to pick you up. Don't get stuck in the dark. Call 512-245-SAFE.
While arcade games get older and older, they stay timeless in the hearts of old and new gamers. So Keenen, what drew you to this story?
I think what drew me to this story the most was just the fun of it. It's pretty countercultural. It's not exactly something that everyone's like really doing, and it's just like it's something that it's either you know about or you don't, and it was just really fun to do.
Great. Let's take a look at an arcade.
Despite the improvements in technology and the ever-expansive presence of at-home gaming, arcades are still around for folks of all ages. Pinball's Arcade, a BYOB gaming stop, still stands the test of time in Austin, with a multitude of games for all to enjoy.
I think arcades in 2016 are great. Like, everything in 2016 is homage to something from like decades before. So everything that's cool now is in this arcade.
When you take a closer look, it's no surprise that Pinballs is still around. With its tournaments, drinks, events, and even a Pokestop, arcades can provide something today that at-home gaming simply can't: personal interaction.
At home, like, if you have a system, it's okay to play, but you're really trying to play online, you're interacting with other people. I think in an arcade, you get to do that, but you may end up interacting with people that you don't even know.
And when you walk in and see games like Austin Powers paired right next to Game of Thrones, you come to realize that a classic arcade may not be as classic as you think. This retro scene comes with a modern twist, however. All the latest pop culture prizes and games to be found like Guitar Hero, Street Fighter vs. Tekken, and Dance Dance Revolution. This blast from the past has found a home in our cyber world and proves that what's old can be fun again. And it's not game over just yet.
Well, that seems like a fun way to spend a couple hours. So what is it about these old games that brings people to play them?
I think personally that what brings the people to want to play classic games is kind of like the nostalgia factor, is because like these are the games that you were playing when you were a kid growing up, and like going back with like your friends to play something that just kind of like pulls a heartstring or something. It's just fun, and it's just a good way to spend an evening.
What was the most interesting thing that you saw at the arcade?
I would have to say the most interesting thing I saw at the arcade was probably just the variety. There were so many different kinds of games. There was games that came out, last year or 2 years ago, and then there was games that came out, 20 or 30 years ago, and like there's so much variety. You can pick from whatever, and like you can just keep playing all day.
So I know my favorite game has got to be Guitar Hero. What about you?
Oh man, I would have to say that my favorite game that I found there was probably a tie between Tron and Time Crisis. Because Tron, you start off with a ton of lives and you can just keep playing forever. And then Time Crisis, I played that with my father as a kid, and it was just like the first-person shooter. It was just loads of fun.
Thanks for that story, Keenen. So Meagan, you found a really cool place in Austin that might be worth hitting up after going to the arcade.
Yes, the name of the store is Prohibition Creamery. They add alcohol to their ice cream, and it's really new. It just opened back in July.
Wow. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
An ice cream shop is creating intoxicating flavors on 7th Street. Prohibition Creamery opened, becoming the first of its kind to infuse alcohol with ice cream.
I think this job is easy because everybody that walks through the door is already super stoked about it. They're already so excited, and it appeals to all walks of life, like every age and everybody.
Inside, you'll not only find a full bar, but interesting flavors for adults, like sangria sorbet, signature bourbon, and whiskey chocolate. Prohibition Creamery draws in people from almost all walks of life, so long as they're 21 or older. Here you'll find curious college students and experienced drinkers hanging out on the outside porch or right at the bar. Owner Laura Aiden and employees like Max Pancake Stage continuously work to improve ice cream presentations and create new flavors.
And to see ice cream sneak in there and offer that experience is unique in that, we aren't necessarily an ice cream store and that we do sell scoops of ice cream, but we kind of trying to do it in a really fun, hang out, enjoy what you're eating experience.
Next up for Prohibition Creamery, a new business. Beginning in November, they'll begin catering their boozy treats to a party near you.
Hey Meagan, what was that ice cream you got to try while you were out there?
That was the sangria sorbet. It is made with red wine, and it was really good.
So do people usually get carded there? Is it like a bar?
They do. I mean, they have alcohol there also, but whenever you get a pour over of Frangelico or Bailey's, they do card you, and you can really taste the alcohol in the ice cream.
So is the place just for adults, or can teenagers and children come too?
Teenagers, children's, families, they can definitely come. There's stuff for everybody, non-alcoholic ice cream and milkshakes.
Thanks for that. So that's all for today on Studio A. We will be back on October 21st for our next show. For Ian Coleman, Kirby Johnson, Meagan Stokes, and Keenen Colbert, I'm Dyhanara Rios. Until next time, thanks for joining us.